I am so happy to be here. I am so inspired by you guys. This is one of the most amazing things that I have ever been a part of, and I'm so honored that Girl Up has invited me and that the UNHCR has invited me to speak in front of you guys. You guys are some powerhouses. I have a speech written, but I just want to take a minute and if you could just give yourselves a round of applause for all the work that you do, for all the work that you are continuing to do, and for really inspiring me. You guys deeply inspire me and are inspiring the rest of the world and other girls like you, okay? So thank you. Thank you, Natasha, for that amazing introduction. Princeton is lucky to have you, and so is the UN Foundation and Girl Up. This has been such an awesome day, and what an honor and a privilege it's been for all of us to be spoken to by the First Lady, Michelle Obama! That was crazy. When someone as powerful and as dedicated as Mrs. Obama takes out the time of her packed schedule to be here to speak to young girls from across the United States and other countries, just let that be a reminder of how truly important you are, how much you matter, and how important you are to the future of this country and the world. It is my absolute pleasure, I feel like that's an understatement, to be with you all today and to talk to you a little bit about what my work with the UNHCR, the United Nations Refugee Agency, is, why it's important to me. You know, sometimes I think the best thing we can do to find our voice is to find the starting point on our journey to become leaders. You have to ask yourself, what would I change about the world to make it better, and how can I do it now? Can I hear you say now? Now! Now. And if you're going to change the future, it's probably best by looking at your past, at who you are and where you're from. What will your family history tell you about where to put your efforts? Perhaps someone here is from the West or California or Colorado, and your family are farmers or ranchers, where the environment is key to how you live, and doing something to address climate change might be where you want to do some good. Maybe there's someone here from a family of cops that wants to help bridge the divide between the police and those they protect, to help create a dialogue to contribute to more understanding and less fear and suspicion. You know, you can't really know where you're going unless you know where you've been. So for me, I don't know if you guys know that much about me, but my family, if I look at my history, I have to think of like my grandparents or my great-grandparents and what it was like for them, for the people that came before me that had to deal with the awful circumstances in their home countries. So I'm half African. My father is 8 generations Liberian, and Liberia is an African nation with its own troubled history of strife, and my mother's side is from Israel. Having family members on both of my sides that have had to flee from war and persecution, it left me with like this certainty, right? This drive that working on behalf of refugees was where I wanted to put my time, my effort, my life force. And even those of you who are maybe 13, 14, 15, you have a family history that's a part of you. So look at your history. Look at your roots and decide, how is that going to shape you moving forward? My family history helped show me my path, and that's what I've been trying to do by working with the UNHCR since. So I started working with the UN Refugee Agency in late 2013. My mom, like my powerful mommy in her own right, she's an inspiration to me. Hi, Mom, she's watching right now. Hi, Mommy. She called the UN offices, the UNHCR offices in London, like literally just cold called, and said, my daughter is Kat Graham. She's on a TV show called Vampire Diaries, and she'd like to help out. So you see, like even someone like me has to turn to their mommy for help. I still like totally turn to my mom for support. And she points me in the right direction. So the first mission that I actually went on took me to Mafraq, Jordan, to the Zahatri refugee camp. Do any of you guys follow me on Instagram? Okay, a lot of you don't. But I post a lot of photos about my trips and, you know, behind the scenes stuff and all of my work with the UNHCR. So please follow me and please follow UN Refugees because you get some amazing insight. So my first mission, when I went to the Zahatri refugee camp, one time there were over 100,000 refugees fleeing from the awful crisis in Syria, but they were sheltered and kept free from harm thanks to the UNHCR. So I met and I interviewed some of the most resilient, the most hopeful people in a place where you don't often expect to find resilience and hope. I mean, I really met a lot of girls. They looked like you and I. You know, they had the same dreams and goals that you and I have. They were no different. They are no different. I came back from that trip very much changed. I wanted to share those stories with the world, with you guys. I wanted to make a difference. Just last month, along with some of the dedicated UNHCR staff from right here in the DC office, including Lindsay Jenkins. Hi, Lindsay. Did you guys go to her workshop earlier? Yeah, she's the bomb. So she spoke to you guys earlier today. So we went down to Tapachula, Mexico, and to Cunaman, Guatemala. I wanted to educate myself on ways that I can make a difference. And as you saw, I listened to the stories of women and children fleeing the abject violence happening in Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala that sends them fleeing north for Mexico and for some to the United States. We met women whose only goal was to protect their children from harm, the kind of harm we don't always have to fear in the U.S. What you didn't see in the video was one woman we interviewed. She actually had to leave for work at 5 a.m. and lock her children in the house where they sat day in and day out without going to school or playing outside for fear of being gunned down in the street outside their home. Their day would end only upon seeing their mom again at 6 p.m. when she came home from work. When this woman fled Honduras, she said living in Mexico, in a rundown shack with concrete walls and floors, wood planks for a bed, I saw the bed, a strip of cardboard for a mattress, was like a gift, because at least she could walk outside together with her children, scrape together some money, and go enjoy some pizza as a family. So there's so many stories like this, and they're really heartbreaking, and they're difficult to process, you know, and it'd be very easy, right? It'd be easy for us to feel powerless to do anything to help. But bearing witness to the suffering of others and telling their stories is just the one small thing I can do to help affect change. Who's going to Rwanda? I'm so proud of you. So I'm lucky enough to have the eyes and ears of so many thoughtful, kind people that follow me on my social platforms. And if by simply telling these stories, one more person understands what is happening to refugees in places like Central America, it's worth it. So I want you guys to take advantage of your platforms, take advantage of your Facebook, of your Twitter, of your Instagram. Follow the Girl Up campaign on Instagram. Make sure that you're tagging them. Make sure you're sharing it on Twitter. Make sure that you are creating an awareness for your friends, for their friends, for the world, okay? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. If one more person understands what's happening to refugees in places like Central America, then it's worth it. So take some time. I know you guys are very busy, but go to refugeediaries.com and read the stories of our recent trip to Central America and see the hard work being done by the UNHCR to help women and children. If there are big problems in the world that require serious change, I think, my personal opinion, there's no one more suited to making a change, to getting involved, to making a difference than young ladies like you. It's girl power that often can and does change the world in ways big and small. For every girl we see or hear about in the press or online doing great and powerful things to make the world a better place, I'd like to think there are hundreds just like them that the world has yet to hear about. I think of Vivian Har, a 10-year-old girl from California that after seeing a picture of 2 Nepalese boys living in slavery decided she was going to raise money and awareness the only way she knew how. Have you guys heard about her? Yes, she set up a lemonade stand, and all the profits went to ending child slavery. Her efforts have since snowballed into a nonprofit company called Make a Stand, which is a small gesture but turned very big. So anything that you do, even if you think it's a small idea, I want you to believe in it because you never know where it will lead you. I think of Malala, who just turned 18 over the past weekend. Happy birthday, Malala. Who would have thought that a teenage girl from Pakistan would have changed the world forever? She's a Nobel Peace Prize recipient, a young woman who's an example to so many of us, and I think it all started for her as an 11-year-old blogging about what life was like under the Taliban rule and how she wanted to promote education for girls in the Swat Valley where she lived. Look around right now. I just want you to really look around. Look around. Look around the room. The person to your right or your left. Who in here is the next Vivian Har? Who's the next Malala? Because I know in my heart that the power to make that kind of change is in the room right now. How about that? I know in my heart, and actually I really felt it when I walked into this room, just by showing up, just by you guys showing up, has the potential to take what you will learn here these few days and go back into the world, back to your hometowns, and start your journey to amazing change. I know because just by showing up, you have told the world, I'm ready to stand up, to speak up, to rise up. Just by showing up, you've done more to signal to anyone that will listen, and even to those that might not, that you are serious and able and dedicated to making the kind of change that will affect so many people, people you don't even realize it will yet. By showing up, you have taken what might be your first steps towards a life of service, a whole new you that can and will have a positive effect on the world for now and for years to come. It's an amazing feeling, right? So I know, because that's how I feel, getting the chance to do something, anything that makes some change for good, and I want and I wish that for each and every one of you here today. I know, a couple claps. I know that the world is going to be in very good hands, and I know because you've told us it will be, by showing up, by being in this room. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'm so excited to see what you will do. Girl power!